Welcome, level uppers, to another reaction time. I'm one of your co-hosts, Angel Midori, and I'm alongside GVZ.
Yo, it's your boy G-Vaz.
AKA Gregory Virgo.
Oh, I didn't wear my backwards hat. I didn't sell it.
Where is it?
It's upstairs. It's like 2 floors
It's
above
too
us.
far away. It's
That's
just,
way
you can't
too
go
far.
that far.
My mic is connected already.
That's like a full 24 steps.
Is it really that many?
Probably.
How many do you think this is?
My mind went to 12. I don't know why.
Okay.
That's probably
And then
correct,
did you assume it was like 4 and then like 8?
Yeah.
Or like going upstairs?
Yeah.
You guys don't know.
Here's the thing: a riser is typically like 7 to 8 inches. So let's say 2/3 of a foot.
Okay.
And if you go up 10 feet on each floor, at the most.
Yeah. What about the mini one? Because in the foyer you have the mini one that then goes to like the level.
Yeah.
So that throws us off.
Yeah.
After this, I'm going to count the steps in your
So I feel like you have to do 10 divided by 2/3.
Also, do you
like
count,
15.
Do you count the step like going to the main floor too? Like, does that step count?
These are all good questions.
We have so much to figure out.
A lot to digest here.
But
let's get to our main point of this show. It's the leftovers. We said we would do another reaction time, and we stuck to it.
Yes.
We did episodes 1 through 3.
Yes.
Like a few
All
weeks
good
back. Yeah,
episodes.
all good.
Yeah.
Great start to this series, this season. Now we're doing episodes 4 through 7, and I think these episodes are even stronger.
I think it got better.
It's getting better.
Yeah.
It's getting.
I don't know how they managed to do it, but they do.
Episode
I would
7,
rate like the last 2 episodes 10s out of 10.
Episode 7 in particular
Oh,
is
that gave me
awesome.
feels.
Awesome stuff.
And 6.
And they've all been good.
Yeah.
They have all been good. We're going to start right off the bat, though. Actually, no, we're not going to start.
Where are we start?
I want to tell people something first.
Uh-oh.
Follow us.
Oh.
Guys, if you like what we're doing at any point here on twitch.tv/The Level Up Show, hit that heart button live from PlayStation. Tap it.
Tap it.
Tap it. Bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Tap that. Your name will pop up on the TV. We will shout you out. We're also on Twitter. We're on Facebook. We're on YouTube. We got a Patreon if you want to best support the network. You can donate at thelevelupnetwork.com/donate. It's all up to you.
Give us your money.
All right, so let's get to episode 4 here. The beginning of episode 4 starts with an earthquake. Kevin is missing from the bed, and Nora has an anxiety attack.
We need to somehow figure out, do we think that the sleepwalking that Kevin is going through is tied to Patty? Like, if he ultimately gets rid of Patty, he'll get rid of, like, all that trauma?
Well, I think the first question is Patty even real? And something we tackle in, like, episode 6, I want to say, or 7?
I think so.
You think that Patty's real?
Yeah. You don't?
I don't know. I think she is, yes.
I feel like she has to be, because Kevin isn't, like, this... At least I can't believe him to be that psychotic.
Yeah.
I feel like if I believe him to be that psychotic, then I just think of him like the dad. The dad, I think, was psychotic.
You think so?
I don't think the dad had the same problem that Kevin had. I think they just tried to make it seem like that, but I think the dad was actually psychotic. I don't think Kevin is.
I don't think either of them are psychotic, to be honest with you.
You don't think
I think the dad was legitimately seeing people and talking to people that mattered in the same way that the hunter from the first season was talking to people that mattered. There's some
was the hunter even
otherworldly force going on here.
Yeah.
That's the thing is, if once we get to episode 7, we talk about the end of that episode, they might be really doubling down on the supernatural aspect of the show. But going for the more like humanistic and grounded part of the show, Nora freaking out because she feels like maybe another departure had just happened. And kind of maybe it did, because these girls have disappeared.
We still have yet to know if it did or not. Yeah.
These 3 girls, one of them is Evie, the daughter of the Black family.
We love her.
The Johnsons. The Murphys. The Murphys!
He said the Johnsons.
The Johnsons. I was so
he was so
sure.
sure.
Well, I was thinking of John. John is the father.
John Murphy is the dad.
And then the mom is...
Ooh.
Yeah.
The actress's name is Regina King.
We'll just call her that then. Regina
King, love her.
Yeah, who's excellent. She had a great episode later on. But right off, like, Nora is very different this season, in my opinion. Like, I feel like she's more, like, off the handle and just kind of
She's a lot more paranoid this season, and I think rightfully so, though.
Yeah.
Everybody in her life is kind of crumbling right when she got everybody stable. And now, like, as much as she seems like she's in control all the time, she's not at all. And I think that's the best part of her character, and a testament to Carrie Coon's acting abilities. When she finally thinks she got to somewhere where she's like, yes, like, I'm here, I can control this. Kevin, this is what's been going on in my life. That in episode 2, when they explain like what happened and how they got to Miracle and everything.
Yeah.
And when Jill, Kevin, and Nora all sit down, and she's kind of like, well, like, I had a prostitute shoot me every week. And then Kevin's like, why do people talk to me? Like, that, like, leveled it all out. But now Kevin's like, listen. I'm still going through some crap. She's confused about that. These girls have gone missing. Like, she's losing her mind. I think rightfully so.
I'm trying to remember episode 4's main focus.
That was searching for the missing girls.
Searching for the missing girls, correct. And that's the thing.
And Kevin had to get his cell phone back.
Yeah, because Kevin left his palm prints
on the window.
An important part here is they left his palm print on the door when he woke up in the empty lake, which is something they did cover.
But drenched in water, so there was water in there when he dove in.
Yeah, and let's just kind of like bridge gaps here. We know why he was in that lake now, because he was trying to kill himself legitimately, and there's a reason for that. He was told that he needed to kill himself in order to get rid of Patty. And we'll get to that later on, but that's why he was in the lake.
Yeah.
But he
with the cinderbox touch.
He didn't know that the lake was going to empty itself and save him. And we don't know why that happened.
Do you think it saved him?
That's the thing, is I talked about this in the last time we talked about this. Maybe the town doesn't want him to die.
You think the town's a character still? I can't believe it. I don't
think so?
I don't think Miracle is special. I just think that it's all coincidences. This season too, me and you talked about this a little bit, how they kind of highlight, and they've been answering a lot more questions this season. In season 1, it was very like ominous, and like all these questions were being posed, but none got answered. And in this season already, they answered so much. Nora in this episode finds out when the scientists from Harvard or wherever university they were from call her, and they're like, "Oh, we're calling you about the scientific research on your house and like how it was infected." And she's like, "Wait, like, is it all true?" And he's like, "Yeah, we just need you to come down for an exorcism because we believe the god Dante has come down to your home." And she's like,
really? And she laughs it off.
She's like, "What?" Yeah. And that's what I think is. I just think it's like all people trying to make up stuff. I don't think the town is its own thing.
Okay.
I could be wrong.
I could be wrong too. I have no idea. Let's go to John here. John in this episode, obviously, he's lost his daughters, and he's going even more angry and insane than he was to begin with.
Psychopath.
Because we knew from the very beginning that he had had committed attempted murder on somebody. We don't know quite who it is yet in this episode. We find out later. Yeah. But now that his daughter's missing, he's going around to everybody who could possibly have put his palm print on the card, not knowing the person's right next to him.
Yeah. He literally offers Kevin a ride.
So he goes and beats the shit out of one guy. Yeah. He gets shot.
Yep.
That
was by the like prodigal guy who tried to like read palms.
The guy from Family Matters.
Yeah.
He's from Family Matters.
I love him.
Yeah. So that he's just. How do you feel about John?
I want them to explain why he is the way he is, and I think I'll be more sympathetic with his character. As of right now, I don't think he's justified in any of his actions, but they haven't made him justified to me.
Yeah.
To believe it, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, all the crazy crap that Kevin does, like, I'm like, I get it. Like, because I know his story.
Sure.
So without knowing John's story, I don't want to judge him. But as of right now, if I looked at him and had to judge him, just like the book by its cover, he's a psychopath.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
Like, he is a lunatic.
He might have a good reason for that, and we'll, again, get to that a little bit later on, because we kind of know what started him down this path of anger and all that. A little bit.
We theorized about it.
Yeah. Kappa, lulz. Thank you for the follow, Kappa. Really appreciate the follow there. Keep those coming, guys. Hit that heart button live from PlayStation. Let's see, what else happens in this episode? This one, I guess, was the most uneventful. If I remember right, this was the one episode that we were both okay,
this
is like a little bit
slowing down a bit.
Yeah, and then it picks up right after that. It was
still like an 8, though.
Yeah, it was still fine.
Oh, is this the one where, what's her face? Nora and Jill bond debate on the porch when they get drunk?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
And she, like, hands her the whiskey, the wild turkey. Mm-hmm. And then Nora runs into the black grandpa in the store. Virgil, yeah.
Yeah, Virgil. Yeah, you're right. She did run into Virgil. His name. Virgil, it's important that his name is Virgil. Again, we'll get to that a little bit later on. That's the most important part, is episode 7 with what happens with Virgil. Once again, we see a little bit of Regina King's character being this wife that, man, like, she deals with a lot and doesn't seem to show any, like, care about it. It's like, my husband's shot. Hey, I'll just take it out. Who gives a shit?
Talk about the good wife.
Yeah.
Like, in the sense that, like, it's the wife that literally will do anything to support her family as a whole. It's
weird, though. Like, I don't, like, she seems so desensitized to what's going on, like...
Until she finally cracks.
Until she cracks in the next episode. But at this point, you're just like, what is with this woman? Like, she's blindly following her husband, who's like trying to kill people and setting houses on fire. It's just kind of crazy.
This is also the reveal that we get where Matt says that Nora woke up.
Not Nora.
That Mary woke up.
His wife.
Matt tells Nora, his sister, that his wife who's been in like this vegetative state.
Mm-hmm.
You can't even call it a coma because she's conscious, right?
She is, I think.
She's just not responsive.
We don't really know for sure because there's literally a part where he brings her for the testing in the next episode. We'll get to that. Yeah. And they're like, does she feel this right now? And Matt's like, I don't know. Yeah. Like, we really have no idea where her
when they go to syringe her.
Yeah, like, you don't know where her mind is exactly. Yeah. And that's what's really sad about it.
Where is my mind?
They've played that song so many times.
I love it, though. It's an acoustic.
Oh, this was an interesting part. So he's talking to Patty. Obviously, he has this imaginary character. And then the guy in the tower who has been there the entire season so far, and for some, I don't know why he stays up there, he's like, who's your friend? And it's like, oh, like somebody else can see Patty?
Yeah.
Like, what's going on there? I thought that was real interesting. So keep that in mind. We'll get to that a little later on. Why does the guy
He looks like Tom Hanks from Castaway.
Yeah, he does.
A little bit.
We'll get to that a little later on. Anything else? Fine. Oh, is this the one where they decide I need to be handcuffed to the bed?
Handcuffed to the bed, yeah.
Yeah, because he keeps waking up in the middle of the night, sleepwalking, trying to kill himself. Yeah. And now he's like, okay, Nora, you're going to have to, like, handcuff me to the bed and keep an eye on me.
Nice of Kevin, too. I like to point out, testament to his character as well, is he, as soon as that second episode happened where he came clean about everything to Nora, like, Kevin doesn't really know where to draw the line on what to not tell Nora.
Yeah.
And he's just way too honest, I feel now.
This was kind of weird.
But he kind of recovers from that a bit.
They talk about how he needs to be handcuffed and all this kind of stuff, and she doesn't really bat an eye at that, and then later on she leaves over something else. It felt a little bit maybe out of character. I'll get to that. That's my one kind of complaint with episode 7. So I feel like not too much happened in this episode here.
No. Something crazy happens at the end, no?
She looks outside at the end here, and what happens? I can't remember.
Doesn't Jill see something?
I think she just sees... Oh, she sees Michael. Scratching
ripping off the sign because he believes that Evie departed.
Yeah, that's the thing is... Regina King's character does too.
Yeah.
Like, I think John might be the only one that's, like, holding on hope that, like, the daughters are somewhere and somebody, like, abducted them. But Regina King's character, Michael, they're all like, another departure just happened. We lost our family.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
And now it's kind of taking down the throne that Miracle, or the pedestal that everyone's been putting Miracle on. Because they had those signs that you just saw Michael scraping off there that said, we've been saved. Nothing happened in our town.
Do you think that the daughters disappeared? Like, that they departed?
No.
You don't? What do you think happened to them?
I have no idea what happened to them. I just don't think they're gone.
I agree. I don't think they're gone either.
I think this season's going to... I don't think it's going to be like a season 1 to season 2 jump where we get a whole new town, new characters. I think this is going to continue into season 3. And I think Evie's going to come back in the last episode, and it's going to be like this shocking revelation. Everyone's going to be like, and then it's going to be like, end. That's how I think it's
interesting.
Do you think they'll keep the same like Miracle and stuff for season 3 if there is a season 3?
No, I don't, actually.
You think it'll switch again?
I think it'll switch again.
Still the Garveys?
I think the Garveys will follow through to the 3rd season, and I think the Murphys might as well. But I think something is going to change. Like there will be a dramatic change in feel from 2 to 3.
I could see that because Miracle's falling apart.
Yeah, really, it is, and I think
in more ways than one.
Going by previews and stuff, it really looks like it's going to fall apart by the end of the season.
Oh my god, 100%.
So now, continuing on with Matt's life being the worst thing to ever happen to anybody in the history of the universe.
Oh, the Matt and Mary.
In the first season, Matt has a terrible, terrible day with trying to make money, going to the casino, getting beat up, losing all the cash, and then having his church stolen away from him by the guilty remnant.
The highlight of season 1, though.
Yeah, really. Yeah. And now in this season, he is, as we talked about, he's sure that Mary woke up. And I honestly believe that he believes that this happened.
Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
He truly believes it, that Mary woke up.
I don't believe it happened.
Yeah, that's the thing is, I'm not so sure it did happen. But that's why he's staying in Miracle. And he keeps reenacting the same thing every single day because he wants it to happen again. Like, he feeds her the same thing. They go to the same place.
Goes to the same grocery store, uses the same bathroom, eats the same burrito every day.
Same smoothie. Like he's trying to reenact the day exactly as it happened that first time when she woke up. And he puts like a camera on at night with night vision to see if anything happens while he's sleeping.
Almost like Paranormal Activity found footage style.
Yeah.
That was a really cool scene.
But he's been doing this clearly for maybe months. Yeah. And he's starting to get frustrated.
How long do you think it goes on until he finally cracks? They don't really tell you because the montage goes on for a bit, but I feel like it's only been like a week or so.
Honestly, no. I feel like he's been doing it for longer than a week. Yeah, I feel like he's been doing it for weeks.
That's
and
crazy.
Weeks. I honestly think
Matt's a crazy, psychotic character.
Yeah, and you can see he's starting to break, and he literally grabs her face at one point. And he's like, "Talk to me!"
He's like, "Come on!"
Like,
and when he yells at her, that was when it all kind of broke down. Because Mary has always been his the person that's grounded him. And for him to freak out on her,
Yeah.
I was like, whoa. I'm like, maybe I don't know him as well as I thought I did at all.
Synthesizer, welcome to the show. We're talking about The Leftovers. It's a show on HBO, a really great show about maybe the rapture. We're not quite sure. People have departed, 2% of the population. We really, if you don't know much about The Leftovers, you're going to have a tough time understanding what we're talking about. But for the people that do watch The Leftovers, thank you for joining us. Welcome to DDR Duck. Nice to have you here. All right, so moving on, he also has to take Mary for a test in this episode. Out of the town, he takes her, beyond the walls. They have like a whole gate system where you have to like come in and have a bracelet. Yeah. He goes outside of Miracle, outside of Jarden, the Jarden of Eden, and goes to a doctor's appointment. He consistently does this because he's looking for brain activity.
Yeah, just to see if anything's changed in Mary's condition, which it never does.
No, it never does. But something kind of crazy happens.
But something else changed this visit to the doctor's office.
Yes.
We find out that his vegetative wife is pregnant.
Yes.
And Matt, this is Christopher Eccleston, Dr. Who shirt, the Ninth Doctor, as we all know and love. Awesome acting ability. He, in that moment where it drowns out the noise and the doctor's voice gets muffled, and he's just so happy that she's pregnant, and I'm like, I don't think he realizes what this means at all. And then when he finally comes back to life, the doctor's like, sir, like, you're going to need to sign this consent form to say, like, we didn't know about this, because then we can be held liable that we ran the test knowing that she was pregnant, like, that we could have hurt the baby.
And not even just that, the thing that he doesn't even pop into his head is how everybody is going to react when they hear that his vegetative wife is pregnant and has been vegetative for a long enough time that he had to have sex with her while she was vegetative, which means that she did not give consent.
I have a question for you, though.
Yeah.
If we find out that obviously she didn't give consent, I really don't believe she woke up in this town of Miracle and like started talking and everything. If we find out that she didn't, would you hate Matt as a character?
No, because he clearly thinks that she did wake up.
That's why I still like him.
Even if he's...
I don't want to be like an ass because I like this terrible guy.
He did not have malevolent actions.
Okay, good.
He didn't like have sex with his wife, technically rape his wife because he didn't have consent.
Yeah, like I don't want it to be said like that.
No, I don't think that's what happened.
I don't think he raped her.
And that's kind of when John talks to him at the end of the episode, he's like, you're going to say, I was sad.
Yeah.
I was confused. And that's maybe the truth. Maybe he was really sad and confused and messed up and dreamt or truly believed that she woke up for this one day.
Yeah.
They had this amazing day together, talked, laughed, had sex, and then she suddenly went back to vegetative state. He seems to honestly believe that.
I just feel so bad for him because I really like him as a character.
Yeah.
And I don't, like you said, he didn't do it like malevolently at all, or I don't think he did it to be malicious.
But that's how people are going to look at it.
Oh my God, yeah, people are going to judge like that.
Now,
I just wanted to know your personal opinion, so you wouldn't hate him?
No, I wouldn't.
Neither would I.
This is kind of getting into touchy territory here, and maybe something, maybe we shouldn't even talk about this, but I'm going to ask it anyway. If this actually happened, if you knew of somebody that had a vegetative wife and you found out that she got pregnant, would you consider it rape? Because if she was
like, if I knew them like as my friend, like if I'm Nora in this situation,
and you knew that they had a happy marriage beforehand and that she would always give consent beforehand.
No, I wouldn't.
That's the thing, is like that was Kristen was saying. She's like, but obviously she would give consent if she was awake. And I was like, but that's not, but still she's not giving consent.
Would you judge somebody if they did?
I wouldn't look at it as rape.
Neither would I.
Because I wouldn't look at it as a malevolent thing. Yeah. But it would be a thing where like, this is weird.
Oh yeah, I'd definitely look at it and be like, that's creepy as shit. And like I'd talk about it with like other people and be like, guys, we need to kind of help Matt out. Like he maybe needs to see somebody. Or like I'd make an effort to try to be more in Matt's life.
Such a weird thing. Like I don't know how to feel about it.
The Leftovers is so good at that though. Yeah. They present these situations where it's not just like, all right, let's tackle rape. They're like, let's tackle rape where somebody might not have given consent, but she's in a vegetative coma. Like, and how does that make you feel about the character? And they make you feel things that where it's like you said, like I can't hate him, but I look at him now and I'm like, Matt. I'm like, that's not okay, boo-boo. Like, you can't be doing that.
But the thing is, nobody actually, goes after him, like, charges him with anything.
Well, no, because then they have to kick him out of the town.
Right, yeah.
But let's talk about how that happened. So, lo and behold, Matt his luck is just the worst luck in the world. So after finding out, he signs the consent form. He's just so happy that he's about to have a kid with Mary. So he signs the consent form. He goes to the bathroom before they leave, and he drops his phone in the toilet, so he loses his cell phone capabilities. On the drive home, he's pushing, or he's driving Mary down the road. He stops on the side of the road where he sees his car broken down. As soon as this dad and his son in the car see that they have the bracelets to the town of Miracle, they bludgeon in and beat the hell out of Matt. They step on his hand,
Yeah,
right?
right here. I have it showing right now. It's messed up.
Oh my god, yeah. And they step on his hand, break his hand in order to get, or break his wrist, essentially, right?
Because they're trying to get off the bracelet. Yeah.
And then he grabs the bracelet off of Mary to give to his son. I don't think he hurt Mary, though.
No.
Because Mary's bracelet was probably, like, her wrists were probably thin enough. But Matt was, like, struggling with him and stuff.
But people are desperate to get into this town of Miracle, Jordan.
Yeah.
Because they think it's special. Nobody's departed from this town, except maybe now.
Yeah.
That's the thing, is the town's kind of falling apart at the idea that maybe somebody finally did depart. Mm-hmm. But everybody else is trying to get in, is like, this is the safe place. Yeah. This is where we want to go. And that was Nora's.
Eden. This is like their utopia.
Yeah, this was Nora's rationale, was like, this is somewhere safe to
I don't think Nora would have gone to this extreme.
No, I don't
Not
think so
at all.
She's willing to spend $3 million for a house.
The saddest, that's true. The saddest part is when the dad looks at the son in that scene in the back of the car, and he's like, "Come on!" And the son like that's your dad. Like, how are you not going to go along with it?
The son didn't know what to do.
And just to see like that little kid doing it. So needless to say, he goes back to the town. He can't get back in. This is the first time we see anybody else of our main cast. He calls Nora, right? At the station, and he's like, "Listen, like, me and Mary got robbed."
He does get inside. It's when he goes to like the I don't know, the visitor center or whatever, trying to get his bracelet, that everything's falling apart. This douchebag here is getting on him, and then he gets in a fight. Everything's falling apart, as
Matt
always.
Has the worst life.
He's the worst life ever.
It really is the worst life ever.
And then he gets...
This is the John Murphy scene Drew was talking about earlier, where he kind of puts him into this predicament, like, we're going to let you back into the town, but only if you agree to say, like, I was a lonely, desperate man who needed to, like, basically get off.
Sure.
And did that with my wife. Yeah. And I don't think it's that blatant.
He doesn't believe in miracles, is what it is. John is truly against miracles. His motto is, there is no miracles in Miracle.
What I want to ask you about this scene, though, is do you think that John's doing it out of like caring about Matt? Because I read it as like, this was my first moment with John ever in all 5 episodes so far, where I was just like, oh my, like, he's kind of nice.
I mean,
because he's doing it to be like, Matt, you can come back in the town, but you need to do this.
I think he's doing it because Kevin asked him to. Like,
I don't Kevin, but still, he's being nice about it.
He's being nice, I guess, but I don't think that he would have like come to the visitor center, like hearing about this guy and been like, no, he's the preacher, like let him in.
Yeah, that's
like I think he would have been like, no, I'm doing this.
If Kevin wasn't like, John, come with me.
Like I think he's doing it for multiple reasons.
Oh, I mean,
all it takes is him like asking him, like, why are you angry? Like, you've been angry. And then he's like, oh, yeah, see ya. You're not coming in anymore.
That's
like,
true.
He changes his mind
he goes from
really
0 to
quickly. 0 to 100. This guy is really angry inside.
Do you like John Murphy as a character?
No, I don't. I think he's
You don't like him at all?
I
think he's going to redeem himself.
Yeah, I think he will too, probably. But right now, he's just an angry person. It's kind of tough to side with him. He's just so angry,
bitter, and
just so one-sided. Like he's not at all giving and taking.
What is that word where like you think you're always arrogant?
Yeah, he's arrogant.
Yeah, he's arrogant.
He's arrogant.
He's just like always in John Murphy's head.
Yeah. So that's what happens. Is what's his name? Eccleston's character, Matt doesn't get back in the town because suddenly John's like, oh, you think I'm angry? Yeah. See ya. Yeah. You're not welcome in here. So then he goes back out to...
Oh, I forgot. This is a whole part of the episode,
Yeah, this is the part where I'll probably have to skip, actually, because I don't want to see any nudity.
So he goes back to, like, this camp. The camp that's outside of the walls where people are camping out to try to get into Miracle.
Yeah.
He kind of goes into this scenario where people are testing him in different ways, and he's thinking of as like the trials and tribulations of God, like putting him through penance. And he tries to sneak Mary back into the town. He pays off a heroin addict, probably to buy more heroin. The plan ends up backfiring terribly. Him and Mary almost drowns to death. And then he gets back to the edge of the town where he sees this guy in shackles.
Yep.
He goes to serve his penance, and everyone's yelling at him. The only way to get him out is for you to replace him and serve your penance. So Matt's like, no, and we see Matt, Christopher Eccleston's character, completely new too, which I was shocked about. I did not expect that at all.
Yeah, no, I'll get to that in the next episode because it quickly changes. I thought they were going to make a bigger deal out of him being in the shackles, but the one thing that does happen in this episode is he's forced to beat this guy, as we're seeing on screen right now, and say a certain name.
Oh, where he breaks the...
Yeah, he breaks the paddle over him. What do you think that's going to come back? Like, that was his way of getting I'm not sure. Like, he was trying to make a deal there, and the one woman is like a Catholic, so he's trying to like appeal to that sense of her.
Yeah, he uses him being a father of the church to like try to get on her good side, and she's like, well, if you're a true father, then like you could. If you have to commit these sins to get back to the top.
Yeah, he needed her money. She was going to give him money if he did this thing. But I'm curious if they're going to come back to explaining why did they want him to hit this guy with the paddle? Why did he have to say a name?
Usually we only get one Matt focus episode, which disappoints me a lot because then I feel like his story just kind of it's just like season 1 sucked. Like season 2 it just sucks, but he never gets like any good scenario until he gets Nora back. Not Nora. I keep calling her Nora. He gets Mary back. Until randomly, finally some good luck happens, and Nora is shouting his name through this town. She went out to go find Matt. And in the most notable part, I think, of the whole episode, she takes Matt and Nora, puts them in the trunk, gets them through the gates and everything, and we see the dad and the son.
Yep.
This is where I started believing Drew's theory of the town being a character itself is the dad, because they only bring Mary back in, because Matt says, get Mary back, I still have stuff to do here, like on the outside of the town, as a preacher, as a reverend. So when he goes back out of the town, only the dad dies in the car accident, and you're wondering where the son is the whole time, and then Kevin finally looks at him, and it kind of makes sense. You said...
the town is trying to keep a certain number of...
The population 2,671.
9,000 something.
We are the however many, and we are spared.
So it's almost like it killed the father and spared the son because it has to keep this number consistent.
Because Matt stayed outside, so it only had to take one life because Mary's coming back in. So it's like, all right, kill the dad, but then the boy gets to come back in. But then we don't know what happens to the boy either. The bracelet,
he gives it to John, right? He gives the boy to John and says this boy needs help. His father died. But then
that's the beginning of next episode.
We don't know what happens. But then John leaves willingly and says, eventually I'm going to come back and we're going to have a conversation when you realize that you were wrong. And Mary did come back, to life. And then he leaves and he puts himself in the shackles, as you said. And then we can go to the next episode where, as I was saying, it's kind of weird. Like, they didn't make a big deal out of the shackles thing. Like, the next time you see him, he's like no longer in the shackles.
I know. I thought it was going to be so much more significant in that moment. Which Matt episode did you like more, season 1 or season 2?
Season 1, I think.
Yeah, me too. I agree with that.
Season 2 was good and all, but I feel like it was kind of a repeat of season 1
I agree
in a sense. But,
season 1, when that first happened, it like dealt with the moral dilemma of Matt's character, and in this it was just kind of like, all right, rinse, repeat. It's just a different scenario.
Still a great episode. Yeah, it still brought up a lot of interesting things about Mary waking up, about her being pregnant. A lot of really interesting things happen, a lot of new questions raised. But the part of it where it's kind of like, oh, this guy has the worst life in the world. Let's just repeat season 1 again. That was kind of like, okay, we've been there, done that. We've been there, done that.
I was like, I still feel bad.
So now the start of the 6th episode starts with this guy coming to Miracle. And he goes to Nora's porch. Well, first to Regina King's porch, even though I can't really...
What is her name?
I know, we're the worst.
I'm going to Google it.
So he goes to her porch first. He's a scientist, you think. You think he's a scientist.
He has like this weird, like almost like paranormal scanner with him. He has like this whole suitcase and getup. He goes to Regina King's house first. I'm going to look up her name right now so we find out the name of her character in the show. And she's just kind of like, get off my porch, like, whatever. Like a normal reaction. Like, it's a typical, like, people that would come up for lawn service on your house, like that kind of reaction. Then he goes to Nora's house, and Nora kicks his scanner off the porch, flips out on him. I believe she curses him out, too, right? She says, like, get the fuck out of my house or something. And he's kind of, like, turned off by it. But I think Nora was totally justified in her reaction.
No, 100%. He was a douche.
And because he keeps pressing her, and he's like, he gets out of her somehow.
He like starts scanning her, like without her permission.
But he gets out of her somehow that, I don't know if he researched it, but he gets out of her that her family departed. So as soon as he says something about her family is when she's like, who the hell do you think you are? Like knocking on my door and bringing that up to me. Which was terrifying, but I love Nora as a character.
But the crux of like the science stuff in this episode here, we get a lot of stuff with Regina King as well, because this guy from the departure service comes to town as well.
Where Nora used to work.
Nora used to work, and he's investigating things. He wants to talk with Regina King, but they're also investigating this idea that Nora is a lens, which means that she like magnifies the potential for departure.
So basically, like, she was the reason for Evie, quote unquote, departing because of her whatever chemical imbalance she has, her metachlorians. Who knows?
Who knows?
God bless. Like she, like you said, magnetizes to people departing.
But the idea is that she might even believe this because her family departed, and now she moves next door to another family,
and
their
Evie's
family departed,
and the other 2 girls too, who we keep forgetting about. So, I still forget that there's 3 girls have gone missing.
So a part of her actually considers this. Another thing to mention is that Nora took Mary.
Erica Murphy.
Erica.
With a K, notably.
And so Nora is taking care of Mary now that Matt has left the town. And this guy that comes, from the departure service, he has a new survey, a new questionnaire. Because remember how Nora used to ask 200 questions to these people?
Just general stuff.
It's changed now. Like there's been revisions, and Nora becomes kind of obsessed at the idea of finding out what these revisions mean. Why do you think that she's so obsessed with getting a hold of this new questionnaire?
Personally, I think it's just a matter of this whole episode, she's trying to figure out who she is as a person. And if, I think this is where she finally lets down and starts to break down. And I think that's why her reaction is justified in the next episode, the part you don't like, where she abandons Kevin, because she loses herself for the first time again. She's reminded of her past. She finally got rid of her past. She moved away from it. But, this just shows in life, you can't escape your past at all. So to get a hold of that questionnaire, it's just going to prove, it's still the same stupid questions that I was asking. It's not going to prove anything. I'm not the reason why my family departed, because she blames herself ultimately, I think, for her husband and her 2 children departing.
Sure.
The last conversation she had with her husband, lest we forget, was she found out that her husband was cheating on her. They got into a huge blowout fight, and then he's gone.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was your last conversation with somebody you were married to for 10 potentially longer years. I couldn't even imagine. So this is, I think, her grabbing the questionnaire and getting a hold of the questionnaire is her taking back her life.
Yeah, that happens later on in the episode. They have a fundraiser for these children, to help, the search and all that kind of stuff.
Prolong it.
That's where Erica kind of has a breakdown. But this is really important to later on in the episode too, because we already know that Erica does this thing where she goes out, buries a bird, comes back 3 days later, checks the box to see if the bird is still alive. You make a wish, is what she explains later on, before opening up the box. And if the bird is still alive, the wish will come true, kind of thing.
But you always make the wish before you bury it.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is notable, too.
Now, earlier in the season, we saw her open up the box and the bird was alive.
Yep.
So that means whatever wish she made there would come true. But now, ever since that, you can see she's taking out dead birds, and there's a
well, we know what her wish was.
Yes, we'll find out later on. But now it's dead bird, dead bird, dead bird. So only that one wish came true for her. We don't know what it is until the end of the episode. These are the other 2 parents here that lost their children as well. They're talking about the fundraiser. Let's kind of, we'll skip around a little bit. Let's go to the fundraiser, because that's an important moment.
So much happens at the fundraiser.
Yeah, let's see if I can find it.
This is where Nora finally gets a hold of the questionnaire from the guy. What is that called? The DEO, Department of, or the DED, the Department of Environmental Departures or something
weird. Like that. Yeah.
Nora finally gets a hold of the questionnaire. She's reading it. Kevin's kind of like, "What the hell are you doing?" And Nora's like, "Shh." Nice to note in this episode is where they start to depart. And this is why I justify her leaving. Nora starts to go back into her old way of secrets because she gets brought back into her past life. And Kevin is like, "I'm seeing Patty, my life is in shambles. Help me out, Nora." And Nora's just like, "Shh, I have to figure out my life first. Let me get all my shit together, and then maybe I can help you out."
She's trying to convince herself, though, that she is not the reason for her children and her husband being departed, because she wants this new questionnaire, because she's not just we'll explain right now. She takes this questionnaire because she wants to act like she's taking it to bring it to Erica.
Yeah.
To be like, it's okay, let me do this for you. Yeah. You can trust me. Yeah. But what she's really doing is I want the questionnaire for myself. I want to ask myself these questions while asking you these questions to find out if I'm a lens.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is what's happening. But during the scene with the fundraiser, whatever you want to call it here,
Goatman comes back.
Erica has a breakdown because Goatman comes back, who goes around the town slitting goats' throats because they think it's a sacrifice that made the town
spared. Yeah.
That they're spared. And that's the thing is you have so many explanation here for why the town is the way it is. Why this woman's always in a wedding dress. Yeah. Why this guy goes around slitting goats' throats. It's because it happened that day of the departure. So because it happened that day, all these people have a pass. It's oh, you slit goats' throats? We'll allow you to keep doing that because maybe that's why people didn't depart from this town. Oh, you wore a wedding dress that day? Just keep wearing that freaking wedding dress every day.
And I think this is such a good writing moment. This was my favorite episode so far this season.
You think so?
And I think this moment, you live as a proxy, as a viewer, through Erica Murphy's character. And when she has this freak out moment where she's like, sure, we are the how many so people and we are spared, so you can slit a goat's throat wherever you want and you can wear your dumbass wedding dress. And she flips out and it's all the questions that we have as viewers and we get, finally, somebody says it on the show.
So many answers.
And it's so
episode,
it's so powerful that she comes through and she's like, you're an ass. Like, she literally just looks at everybody and she's like, you're stupid for doing this. And then the best part of the episode is when Nora finally, like you said, brings a questionnaire to Erica. She just convinces Erica to let her inside the house, but Erica's not a dumb woman.
Nope.
And she is, without a doubt, she's probably my new favorite character in the show. The women in the show are represented so well. Even Jill is.
Because the thing about her is you were waiting for her character to shine. Because she's a good actress and we know she is. Yeah. She's been nominated for a few Emmys before, stuff like that. So it's like, why did they bring this actress onto this show? She hasn't really had that moment yet. This is the episode where you're like, okay, yeah,
you're like,
she's good.
Holy God. Yeah. Like, and Erica is kind of like playing with Nora a bit. And as Nora's asking all the questions from the questionnaire, Erica's like, she's like, listen. I forget the exact question, what it is. What does she say to her? She says something like, she's like, oh, well, would you have missed somebody that departed? She says something, and Erica flips it right back, and she's like, well, ask yourself. Oh, well, that's what it was. She says to Erica, do you remember the last thing you said to the person who departed? Yeah. And Erica's like, she's like, no, I don't. Yeah. And Nora's like, you don't remember at all? And Erica's like, do you remember the last thing that you said to your family before they departed? And then Nora just loses it. And that's kind of like the culmination of this whole episode of Nora. Like, this was her release of, I don't have control over my life. As much as I think I do, like, I don't at all.
There's this tension too, because at the very beginning of the episode, something we glossed over is that Nora throws a rock.
Oh, through the window.
Through Erica's window.
I forgot about that.
At the very beginning of the episode. And Erica doesn't know who it is at first. But it's in this scene that she realizes it's Nora that threw the rock through the window. But the really important part of the scene, going back to the bird in the box, is Erica explains the wish. And it's kind of something you didn't expect. She says that she was going to leave her husband. She was going to leave John. Kind of, we understand why, because before I was like, what is with this woman? She just lets her husband get away with everything, and it's like, okay, never mind. She's just kind of acting here. She was planning on leaving John, who's a freaking psycho, but she was worried about her children. It's like she's going to abandon her children in the process. So when she went out to the tree where she buries the bird, her wish in that moment was, I wish that Evie is going to be okay. She knew Michael will be okay. She said that for some reason, like Michael will be fine, but Evie,
because of her epilepsy.
Like, I hope Evie will be okay. And then right after that wish happens and the bird is alive, meaning Evie's the wish should come true, Evie departs that night.
Oh my God, it's so crazy.
She blames herself, and that's when Nora's like, really? Like, you're going to try and connect these two things? Like, Nora doesn't want to believe that there's connections to this because she doesn't want to believe that they departed, I don't think. I think she wants...
Because then it brings back the scientific part of making her the lens.
Yeah, she doesn't want to believe that she could be the reason for a departure. She doesn't believe that a departure could happen again. She wants to believe that it was a one-time thing, it happened, it's over, like, it makes her feel better. So, like, it's like a defense mechanism.
Yeah, almost.
Yeah, and that's when Erica realizes everything that Nora's doing. It's like, you're doing this all for yourself. Like, this is all for you. You're the one who threw the rock through the window. So then she says what she says, like, what did you say to your family before they departed? Nora cries, she leaves, goes back to Kevin, who's breaking down.
He's a whole nother mess.
By the way, I see people who they tell me to do things. I tried to kill myself, blah, blah, blah.
He tells Nora in this moment, Patty told me to not tell you about her.
Yeah.
And Nora's just kind of like, well, shit. Like, she's like, come on. Like, I just had Erica tell me some bullshit, and I have to come home and you tell me some bullshit. And this is why I justify Nora. In the next episode, Nora leaves Kevin for a bit. She goes to a hotel. We don't know, like, what the circumstances are, but I think she's so justified. You said earlier you didn't believe she was justified.
I think that it's a little out of character for her.
For Nora to just abandon
him. Because she's already heard so many things from him. They've been telling each other most things. It's like, this is pretty big, though. It's like, he told her, like, handcuff me. But it took him a little bit of time to be like, I see people. I hear voices. And then when she asked him, like, what is she saying right now? She's like, you shouldn't have told her that. You're going to pay for this. You know, like, it's kind of, it's kind of scary and intimidating, right?
I just think she had so much shit piled onto her that she was just like, she's like, I can't. Like, I need to get out.
Yeah, maybe. Because then the rock throws through the window, and it's Erica this time. Like, I know who you are, bitch.
Yeah.
Like, I'm gonna
and Erica's like, I think she waves. Doesn't she wave at her?
I think she just kind of stares.
Or she does like a dirty look. She gives like stank face. That was my favorite.
The stanky face.
But the best part of this entire first 7 episodes of the season was Regina's. It clicks. And testament to the acting and the writing on this show. This is why it's my favorite show on television. Because when Erica finally figures it out, her eyes like glisten a bit, and she looks at Nora and she's like, "You think you're gonna try to throw a rock through my window?" And then crash. And Erica's
there's that face.
And Erica's like, She's like, "You don't, Nora. You do not throw a rock through my house."
Good throw too.
Oh my god.
She's athletic.
She's terrifying.
Yeah.
She's so terrifying.
She has that scene where she's running after the kid who. What did he take? He brought the
pie at the front step.
And you know where the pies are coming from now too. It's Virgil.
Yeah.
Virgil's leaving the pies, who is, we think, Erica's father. Right?
That's what we're assuming. We haven't been confirmed.
It's either Erica's father or John's father. I have no idea. But he did.
He's the grandpa of one of them. Yeah.
He did something to John, who we're going to talk about in this final episode. This is the most recent episode, episode 7. And this episode, man, this is
so much.
A tense episode. Some shit happens in this episode.
I think if Nora was more featured in this episode, it would have been my favorite of the season. But last episode crushed it.
Yeah, I guess the thing is, Nora's absence from this episode is very, very apparent. Like, you really feel it. She left Kevin.
Yeah.
At the start of the episode, you see Patty, and she's like, "You shouldn't have told her, Kevin.
Yeah.
I told you. She's gone now."
Sitting on the chair next to the bed, notably.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
Right behind the sign.
Right, yeah, she's hiding the sign, and we find out later on because he's handcuffed to this bed.
Yeah.
So he doesn't have any key. We find out later on Patty's hiding the key. She's sitting on the note saying the key is like right here under the cushion, which is kind of funny. But this episode's a lot about who is Patty? Is she real? Is Kevin crazy? Is he seeing her? Or is there truly something supernatural going on?
I think this is finally Kevin's trials episode, trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
And a lot happens with Lori this episode a lot. So far, so to make you want Kevin and Lori to be together makes me sick. Sick to my stomach.
I talked about this before. I like Laurie and Kevin together because I feel like it brings the family back.
It makes them a whole.
And I do think that they did love each other at a point in time. I do think that something happened. You could tell in the first season, Meet the Garveys, that episode, something happened with Kevin where I don't know if he fell out of love or whatnot, but like there was something going on. Their relationship wasn't strong. Their marriage was falling apart before even the departure happened. But I do think that they had to love each other at one point. They had a daughter together.
I think the love is still there. It's just not in love. Yeah, like they're always going to care about each other. My parents are divorced, and my mom says all the time, like, she's like, "I'll still always love your dad," but she's like, it's just a different kind of love now. You know what I mean? Like it switches after that. And Kevin makes a reference to it, and I loved. This was oh my god, when they go to the hotel room, and Lori's just kind of like, "Listen, Kevin, like." You have to talk to me. Like, you need somebody to talk to. And she's like, "I know Patty. Like, I was her therapist, so you can talk to me about this." And Kevin goes, the first start of the conversation is, "I wish we got that puppy. Like, I would have gotten that puppy with you." And I was like, like,
that's kind of stuff that makes me like
so happy.
them.
I'm like, like, you should have gotten the puppy.
And Jill here going to Michael, kind of going back to her angsty ways, but it makes sense why. She feels like the family that she was finally gaining is falling apart again. It's like, Nora left, like, "What did you do, Dad?" Like,
she takes the baby. Yeah. That's Jill's connection to Nora, too.
Yeah, she's like screaming here. She's in church saying fuck. And,
she's in church. She's like, "Jesus Christ, fuck, Michael." Like, who cares? And Michael's like, "Jill, like, no, but
she's falling apart again.
And then, nice to note, too, that this is the first episode we get confirmation of them as a couple, or talking, or whatever you want to call it. And she goes, "Why wouldn't you have sex with me the other night?" And he's like, "I don't want to have sex with you. I'm not in love with you yet."
Yeah.
And she's like, "What?" Like,
well, I mean,
she's like, "You don't have to be in love with me to have sex with me." But he's like a Christian church boy. Like,
exactly. He's going to wait until they're in love, or maybe even married. I don't know.
I just don't think she's experienced that kind of boy yet.
Yeah.
And this is like a very Southern, like, church-loving family, and like all about Jesus, and like, like, he's the type of guy, like, from the Angela Johnson comedy special we watched, like, that would make love, and like, but it's like, "Wade in the water," and like, while he's having sex with her, like, he would praise
church music.
And like,
praise Jesus.
That would be him, like, while he's having sex with her.
He's like a crucifix above the bed, like, Jesus is watching us while we have sex.
Like, he's like, "Praise the Lord," like, as he's having sex with her. But Jill's, I just love the women representation in the show, too, because Jill just gets up and she's just like, fuck this. And she's just like, "I'm over it." And she walks out on Michael, which I thought was awesome.
Yeah, Michael has a little bit more of an importance in this episode because we kind of knew this a little bit, but we get confirmation in this episode that he's going out to Virgil. Yeah. To either the mom's father or the dad's father. But this guy's been exiled from the family. We find out in this episode that Virgil, the grandfather, is the man that John tried to kill. Mm-hmm. And for good reason, from what we can ascertain.
Infer.
What we can infer about that situation. But let's save that for a little bit later. Let's talk about Kevin a little bit more now. He's driving around with Patty. He's trying to figure out, like, is this person real? Like, how do I get rid of this person? Is his main thing. Michael comes into the car.
Throws his bike in the trunk.
Yep.
steps into the passenger seat and it's like, we have to go see Virgil.
Yeah.
We're going to see my grandpa.
So
and Kevin just kind of willingly goes along with it.
So he goes in here, this like almost like a voodoo house here, right? Like
kind of scary.
It's kind of scary, right? Like I want to believe in Virgil because from the very first episode, he sees Kevin and he kind of says something along the lines of like getting rid of Patty.
Yeah.
Like he could see Patty immediately and knew that Kevin was dealing with
And
this.
also all of his interactions with the whole town. In the last episode when Nora goes to the drugstore and he's like, how did it feel when your family departed? And she's just like, what? Like he knows things about people and it's weird.
Yeah, he seems to be the real deal.
Yeah.
Which is why when you see this voodoo house, it's like, all right. Let's take
like, let's unpack this.
Let's make sure he's not crazy here. He might be the real deal. Yeah. So he's explaining to Kevin here. I'm trying to remember this first time he's talking to him.
He explains the guy in the tower.
The guy in the tower.
And how he was the first. He was victimized by these voices too. And he kind of tells Kevin the process of going through it is you can do this on your own. But he's like, I have a process of going through it. He doesn't reveal the plan yet.
Yeah, right.
But he says, I don't know if you met the man with the beard that lives up in the tower, but he's like, he's proof that I've done this before and you can get through this. And Kevin's kind of like, fuck this. Like, this is crazy.
Not ready for it yet.
I'm not ready.
Yeah.
And then he has the confrontation in the woods with Patty where they yell at each other.
Yeah, that comes right after this,
that's
actually.
so good.
Let's go to that here. So he goes out, and he's talking about how he knows how to get rid of her.
Yeah.
And then she like pushes him.
Kind of like one-upping each other.
Yeah, and it's like, then do it, Kevin. Let's go there.
Yeah.
Do it. Like, kind of like, you won't. You have no balls.
Poking the bear.
Yeah.
That's what she's doing, essentially.
Yeah.
And he's finally just like, fuck you, Patty. That's it. Even if I die, I'm killing you. Whatever. At this point now, he's like balls to the wall. Whatever it takes, I'm all in.
Because that's what Virgil said: is you have to die.
Yeah.
You have to kill yourself to confront your enemy. You have to have a confrontation
in the other realm. He knows.
In the other realm. Yeah. But he says, "Well, you'll come back though. We'll bring you back. Like you're not going to die permanently." Because Kevin tries to make a point later on. He's like, "I don't want to die."
Yeah.
Like just to make this clear right now. Like I know what we're doing here. He's like, "I don't want to die." Like
and the way he has to die too is a very painful way. He overdoses him on heroin. Mixed with like it's Alka-Seltzer, heroin, and some other drug. I think it's like cocaine or something, and it speeds up his heart to the point where it closes up his lungs, and then he suffocates and foams out of the mouth and sneezes to death. Very terrifying.
And this is where surprise, Laurie comes back to
Love
town.
my girl.
She's outside the fence. He gets a call
in search of Tom, where we still don't know where he's at.
Exactly. We found that in the last episode. She calls Nora at the end of the 6th episode, and it's like, is Tom there? And Nora says no.
Those two characters ever have.
Ever. But Laurie doesn't believe her for some reason. She thinks that they're hiding. Tom. She comes to talk to Kevin, and he's like, yeah, Tom's not here. I haven't seen Tom in a year.
And then Kevin's like, wait, but you talked to Nora?
Yeah.
And Laurie's like, yeah, but that's besides the point. She's like, forget about that conversation. And Kevin's initial reaction to her, he yells at her, and he's like, screw you for leaving our family.
Because she's leaving
again. You made us into what we are. Because she turns around and walks away. He's like, come in, like you can stay with us at the house and stuff. And she's like, I have to find Tom.
She can immediately tell that something's wrong with him too. She's like, "Are you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I've never been better."
Yeah,
It's like, come on, Kevin.
And she knows immediately. That just shows like a testament to their relationship and how long they were in love with each other.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, they're still going to be friends at some point. Because like you knew each other for 15 years of your life.
Well, that's what's kind of crazy. This is his first time hearing her talk.
Yeah.
He heard her say one word in the first season. She says Nora, or not Nora. She says Jill. To save Jill, but otherwise, I haven't heard this woman talk in 3 years.
Yeah, when she walks up to the fence, he goes, "Oh, you're talking now." Yeah. That's what he says to her. I'm like, yes, that's perfect.
Ooh, another moment here. I forget. This episode had a lot going on.
This was like punch after punch.
So he's still trying to get rid of the handcuffs on his hand, right? Yeah. So he decides, I'm going to go to the fire department where John and they can cut off my handcuffs, not knowing that they're scanning palm prints there. Yep. He was the one who left the palm print on the car. Yeah. John is searching for this person. He wants to kill this person probably. So he goes in and he's just he has to do it because he's like, oh, while you're here, why don't you do your palm print? Like, what's he going to say?
Yeah.
No, I've got somewhere to be.
Yeah, he's like, I can, and thanks for getting the handcuffs off me.
Yeah.
He does end up getting, he like gets bolt cutters or something to cut off. I forget what they did there.
Oh, no, he doesn't, actually. They tell him, oh, we don't have any bolt cutters. You're going to have to go across the street or whatever to the guy.
Oh, and then that funny scene plays out with Patty where he curses at the kid.
That happened before that.
Oh, that happened
He already went to that person, and John's like, oh, you'll have to go to that person. He's like,
you're right,
I've already been there, but you already got my palm print.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
It's like, so he's screwed now. Like, they have his palm print. They're going to find out.
It's just a matter of time now whether they're checking them. They're going to confirm the fingerprints are going to match up.
Yep, that's not good.
The Murphys and the Garveys are going to have it all out. It's like Romeo and Juliet, the Capulets and the... What is the other family?
I don't even know.
Romeo and Juliet. You guys know what I'm talking about.
Okay, so now he had this conversation with Laurie earlier in the episode. He goes back to Laurie in a hotel outside of the town to talk with her because she's a psychologist. Yeah. She's or a psychiatrist, maybe. I'm not even sure.
Was Patty's too?
Yeah, notably. Right. So she has, she knows both people. She does mutual relationship, but also she knows Kevin really well, and she's not going to lie to him. She's going to tell him the truth, and that's what's great here. She doesn't sugarcoat anything. She talks to him about Patty and he's going through, and she's kind of like, "I'm telling you right now, Kevin, you're crazy. Yeah, like you're seeing things like this. She isn't there. This isn't real."
And her most notable remark on that is when she says, "Why isn't she here now, Kevin?" And Kevin's like, "Well, I don't like. Sometimes she's just not there." And
was she there earlier when we talked?
And he's like, "Is it? You don't find it weird that I'm Patty's psychiatrist and like every time you're around me, she doesn't want to come out because I know all about her life." And then she even makes the one moment. Kevin's like, "The one thing I wanted Kevin to say to her," and he says it. He goes, "Well, then how would Patty know that like about this and that? Like I didn't know that." Yeah. And Laurie's like, "Well, I told you all that stuff, Kevin." She's like, "That's why our marriage failed. Maybe if you just listened to me more." And he's kind of like, "Well, shit."
Yeah, subconsciously, maybe he listened to all that. So they're giving
reasons.
They're giving
reasons to everything.
Like, potential reasons why she might be fake, but still why she might be real as well. And that's what's great about this is we're getting answers, but they're not like concrete answers. They're still keeping that thread open of like, what if?
The whole time through this whole conversation with Laurie too, I'm still believing that Patty's a real person. Yeah. I think Patty's real.
I agree. I think Patty's real because I feel like it kind of takes a lot away from the show if she's not real.
Yeah.
Like, I want there to be some supernatural aspect to the show.
Because that just proves that Kevin's a psycho. And he's just like the dad.
Yeah, right?
Like, it almost is like follow suit, like you expect it to happen. And that was the scene also I was talking about earlier where he says the thing where, like, if we could go back, I wish we got the puppy.
Right.
I love that part.
It's a nice moment between the two of them. All right, so she is maybe convincing him here. Like, maybe it's all fake. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe... And that's why he asked her, come back to town with me. Yeah. Like, stay with me because if you're here, that means she can't be here. Patty can't be here when you're here.
He's like, you're kind of like my guardian angel in a sense. Yeah. And she shits herself. And she's like, what about Jill? What about Nora? And he's like, well, actually, me and Nora are kind of in a fight. And she's like, oh, well, God bless, like, trouble in paradise. I think she says, oh, trouble in paradise. And I'm like, yes, love you, Laurie. And then she goes back to the house with him. Jill walks into the house after Nora calls Kevin. Finally, we get to hear Nora this episode. Yeah. And like you said, the show felt so empty without her character.
Yeah, it felt weird.
It felt so off. Like, it felt so misplaced. So when we finally hear her, Kevin kind of talks to Nora and he's like, listen, like, you told me to be honest with you. Like, now you hated when I lied. You hated when I'm fully honest. So, like, what can I do to make you happy? Like, I just want you in my life. I love you so much. Yeah. And she's like, I'll come back and it's all going to be okay. She's like, and then at the end of the conversation is where they make the funny remark where he goes, oh, by the way, thanks for leaving me handcuffed to the bed. And she's like, I left the key on the chair. And that's where Patty was sitting. So Kevin had to go on this whole thing.
Yeah, this was a pretty powerful conversation, though, because he has to get the words out of her, like, would you trust me? Yeah. If I said Patty was gone, that I was better, would you believe me? And she says yes. And he's like,
after crying, too.
Yeah, and would you come back? And she's like, yes, I would come back. So their relationship is still possible. She could come back if he gets better.
I think it's worse that Nora's on her own, because not only does she have the baby with her, she is married still, too.
Sure.
So, like, she's by herself taking care of basically two children. Like,
now, here's the thing. Right after this conversation, Jill runs upstairs because, like, what's Mom doing here? Yeah. Like, what's going on here? And he's gone. He's speeding away in the truck to go see Virgil.
Climbed over the fire escape balcony.
Do you think, was Nora's conversation what made him want to immediately get rid of this person in his life?
And that's why I don't want Laurie and Kevin together. Because he's not in love with her the way he is with Nora. Like, Nora is his Kristen, his, like, that's, like, his true love.
No, you're right there, because from what we can gather, he immediately wants to get rid of Virgil, because that means Nora's going to come back. So that must mean, like, he really loves Nora. He's willing to kill himself for her.
Nora's the one thing, literally die for this girl.
Willing to die for Nora.
And that's what makes their connection and their love so special. That's why I love her as a character. And because she affects so many people. And she thinks she's in control. And I'm like, you're not in control, but, like, you need to try to be for these other people that you live with in your life.
And now here we go. So he speeds away. He's going to see Virgil. He knocks on the door. And the first thing...
We hear Michael and Virgil arguing with each other.
Yes, there's some type of confrontation going on between Michael and Virgil. They're in disagreement about something. Opens the door. Michael comes out, and you could tell he's kind of worried or something. He's like, God be with you. Yeah. And it's like right off the bat, you're like, oh shit.
And
like,
he goes, he says something like, if anything happens, like, I'll be right outside to Kevin. And I'm like, if anything happens, like, what's gonna happen? Like,
yeah. So you're automatically wondering. We know,
this whole scene was so tense. I was crapping my pants the whole time.
Because we know that Kevin potentially has to die here, but like, you're kind of wondering, like, what if this goes wrong? What happens?
Yeah.
Like, and you, at this point, like, did you even like think it was possible for Kevin to die in this episode?
No, I don't think they would ever kill Kevin.
Yeah, right.
Ever. Like,
are we gonna get like a Ned Stark thing here, where like the main character of the show dies really early in the show?
No, they can't. They can't.
Right.
Kevin's the tether to all the other characters. If Kevin died, it wouldn't affect the characters, I think, the way the writers would want.
Yeah.
I don't think they would do that.
So
like you said, they finally end up going through with it. They overdose him with the heroin. He has to drink this disgusting...
Yeah, hold on here. We need to talk about that.
Oh, Patty, too.
Because he has a really important conversation with Patty. He makes the drink, and as I was saying earlier, really important, he's telling Virgil, he's like, I need you to know, I don't want to die.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't like we'll try it out. If you die, you die. It's like, he's like, no, I don't want to die. I want to come back. Let's make sure this happens. And
more validity to Virgil as a character, too. As soon as Patty shows up in the trailer, he's like, she's here.
Yeah.
And Kevin's like, what? And then he turns and Patty's sitting on the chair and I'm like, shit. Like,
and that's the thing. It's like right when he's got it like to his mouth, he's just about to drink it and suddenly like, stop!
Yeah.
And you're like, what the hell is that? And it's Patty.
Yeah.
Like, so she's fearful.
Yeah.
She does it like, in that moment, you're like, why doesn't she want him to kill himself?
Yep.
And he's like, Patty, you know what? I talked to my dad, earlier in the season. Yeah. And he's like, you know what he told me? He's like, how he got rid of the voices. He's like, I finally started listening to them. Yeah. And then he's just about to drink it. And Patty's like, no!
Yeah.
Because he asked her, he's like, Patty, I'm asking you right now. He's like, do you want me to do this? And she kind of says, like, sardonically or sarcastically, yeah, I want you to do it.
Yeah.
But I don't think she actually is.
No, because I think she doesn't want to die.
Yeah, she doesn't think he's going to do it. And then he's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to do it. And
he's
he
like,
drinks
surprised,
it, and she screams, no. So she's scared.
Yeah.
She thinks that this might actually work. This is going to kill her as well. He's convulsing. He's, like, seizuring on the floor. Yeah. And, Virgil, who said the way he's going to bring him back is he's going to do one of those... what are they called? The adrenaline shots.
Yeah.
He's going to stab it into his heart and bring him back. Yeah. And you see...
She has a whole kit prepared.
Yeah, you see Virgil take the needle, and he's got it ready, and suddenly he squirts it all out on the floor. And in that moment, you're like...
What the hell?
Yeah.
What in the hell? When the actual sick joke of this show. This is why this show is the best show on television, because, like, what?
I was so worried that was going to happen. I had a feeling it might because, Michael and Virgil are having this argument there, and Michael clearly isn't in agreement what's about to happen. So Virgil is letting him die. He decides, but here's the question is why? Why does he...
But most notably, Virgil is supposed to be the one that goes to the other realm with Kevin to help him battle this Patty, whatever the hell Patty is.
Warning, graphic violence.
And
about to happen.
He pulls out a gun, a little revolver, and boom, shoots himself in the head.
Blows his brains out.
He's dead.
He's dead. He dies with Kevin. Now that's the thing is, I heard about this online afterwards, and it's a really good point. Virgil is kind of like similar to a name in a character from Dante's Inferno and the Seven Layers of Hell and all that kind of stuff. Virgil is kind of the guardian that guides Dante back from hell to
help him get to his wife and
back to the living, right? So, at first we're thinking, oh, maybe he killed himself because he finally feels like he's out, like he can move on. But no, maybe he's killing himself because he knew the adrenaline shot was not going to work. That's not going to bring him back. What's going to bring Kevin back is Virgil guiding him.
I still don't get the part where he squirts it on the ground. Maybe he did it as show for Kevin because I don't think Kevin would have got. This is what I think.
It's more show for us, I think. It's more than I think. It's just supposed to tell us, oh, he's not doing this. I
feel like it's more of a show for Kevin because I don't think Kevin would have gone through with it if he didn't have like a true statement where he's like, I'm going to bring you back with this. Like, see this adrenaline shot? You're going to be fine. Just kill yourself. And then you'll come back and you'll be okay. And then we see this in a little bit of a moment. Michael hears the gunshot, walks into the trailer, sees that his grandpa killed himself. If I walked in on my grandpa blowing his brains out, I would be freaking the fuck out.
Yeah.
And Michael has this moment where he's like, oh, like again. Like he's almost just like, like, come on, grandpa. And then he like pulls Kevin's body out, episode ends.
Yeah.
And we're like, what? And that's how they leave us.
So here's the thing. Right off the bat, do you think Kevin is dead?
Right now, yes. He's obviously...
Well, yes, but you think Kevin's
I don't think they're going to... Yeah, they're coming.
You think Kevin's coming back?
I don't think he's like... I don't think he's staying dead on the show.
No, because I do kind of agree with the theory that Virgil's going to guide it back. I don't think Virgil's going to come back to life. Virgil's dead.
Yeah.
Because he blew his brains out.
Yeah.
But Kevin, on the other hand, is like in an epileptic shock or whatever.
He went into like... He was breathing, so as Michael drags him out.
His heart stopped. His heart could come back. Yeah. Like he's capable of coming back to the living. So I think that Virgil is going to guide him back. But I do kind of wonder if the bird thing is also going to come back, where maybe they bury Kevin for like 3 days,
and then the hand comes to the
and then like
something.
they come back like 3 days later, make a wish,
Yeah.
and then like they unbury him, and he's like, I'm alive again.
The theory for that too is the previews that we got for next week. We had Michael who reacts to something in the woods.
Yeah,
with the same areas where Erica was with the bird box, and Michael like he looks down at the ground and he's like no, and then like the preview ends for next week. So I'm like, what the hell is he reacting to?
Yeah,
and I thought originally it was Kevin, but I'm thinking maybe next episode like he finds his mom burying dead bird, like maybe he finds the dead birds in the woods when he is dragging Kevin.
Yeah, maybe.
Like maybe he finds out that his mom is like having this psychotic break.
Nice. Yeah, that kind of wraps it up there, and I can't wait to find out what happens. We'll watch it tomorrow. We won't watch it tonight.
I'm happy we get to watch this reaction together.
This is a good episode for us to watch together because what a cliffhanger, man.
Oh my god.
This show has been so good this season.
You have no idea. This is my favorite show on television regardless, but like I really didn't think they could top season 1. Yeah. I really, in my mind, didn't think
I feel like it's right there with it. I don't know if I would say it tops it.
No, for me, this tops it.
Because we both agree that the one missing part of this season, the music.
Yeah, that's true.
Where they are using that piano theme a lot. The Departure, they're using that theme a lot. But like a lot of the other themes from the first season, I wish they would bring back. And I understand why they're not. This is a very different vibe.
Even the theme song.
Yeah.
It used to be like Gods in the beginning. It was like, what was the big like art statue of, like the two like
it's kind of like almost like the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah, like exactly. Yeah. And then the second season, it's like a little girl like singing about the South, and she's like, "Where'd they all go? And what are we doing?"
They're going for a different vibe, and that's why I think this is going to be a season by season thing, where it's each season is going to be very, very different in theme and nature.
I would be happy if, as long as they bring, I mean, the Murphys could all die at the end of the season. Like I don't know, but as long as they keep Kevin and that storyline going, I don't care where the show takes place. Like Kevin, Nora, Jill, Lori, Tom, like that storyline I need. Yeah. Continuing on.
That's the other. Do we think we wait another episode to find out what's going on with Tom? Because it seems like next episode is not focused on that.
No, I feel like we'll see Tom, because I think, you know who I think took him? Like Liv Tyler.
Liv Tyler?
Yeah. And I think he's like going to fall into her trap.
Why didn't she take him the first time then, though? When she raped him?
Because I think she needed to scare the hell out of him.
Okay.
That's why she kind of tortures him with the lighter and the gasoline and shit, too. Because, like, I think up until that point where she lights the cigarette instead of him, I thought he was going to catch on fire.
Yeah.
And I think he did, too. Like, he was shitting his pants. That he didn't even have on because she raped him.
Yeah, we only got 3 episodes left, I think, right?
8, 9, and 10.
8, 9, 10. So we'll do another reaction
Sadly.
time after the finale. The season has been so good. We're looking forward to the rest of it. If you guys haven't watched The Leftovers yet and you've been watching this and you're like, what the hell are they talking about? Watch The Leftovers. Season 1 and 2. It's on HBO. Yep. It's on Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time, or 9 p.m. I think. Actually,
HBO Go. The episodes are an hour, but it's every hour you watch. I promise you, it's 8.5 to better.
Yeah.
Out of 10.
Acting, music, writing, story, everything, the twists and turns. It's just...
You don't expect any of it.
Yeah, it's such a good show. No idea what that comment says. It's something about crayons.
Give another Vin Diesel just announced that he's doing another Riddick movie and a television series.
Gotcha. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. To the 9 people in the room right now, hit that heart button live from PlayStation. Bottom left-hand corner of the screen. Tap it. We'll shout you out if you do it in the next 30 seconds here. Also, we're on Twitter at the Level Up Network, Level spelled LVL, YouTube.com/The Level Up Show if you want to have archived episodes and also exclusive shows like Power Up. That's Dean and Greg's superhero comic book nerdiness show. You can donate to our channel and help us grow by going to levelupnetwork.com/donate. Or if you want to do a monthly donation thing and really support the network, go to patreon.com/The Level Up Network. Good one.
I like that. Also, join us tonight, guys. We're doing our 100th episode of The Level Up Show. I'm so excited. I'm gonna be in a tuxedo. I'm gonna have a bow tie. You're wearing a suit?
I'm gonna wear dress pants, dress shirt, tie, and I'm gonna wear this.
We're gonna be fancy looking. Jacket. We have awesome reminiscing clips of the past 2 years, essentially, of our lives.
Pretty much.
And I'm just so excited when we get to do this.
We have a lot of cool stuff planned for tonight. And don't forget, we're going to be giving away $60 in PSN codes. It's going to be 3 10s, and then we're going to end the show with a $30 giveaway for PSN.
We're kind of a big deal.
Yeah, kind of.
John says, Greg and Drew, oh my God, do we love this or what?
We do love it.
He's been mocking me so much lately.
He has.
Greg, don't make it rain. I'm a poor baller. I have to make it hail.
All right, then. I feel like it's a good way to end it.
That's a perfect one.
So we hope to see you all tonight. Once again, follow the show so that you don't miss tonight. You'll get notifications when we go live if you do follow us. It starts at 10 p.m. Eastern Time here on twitch.tv/The Level Up Show. So until then, take care. And as always, don't forget to
level up.
Level up.